why humanity would never leave the solar system.
You will never leave the solar system. Nobody alive today will.
I don't
And
know how
maybe
loud
no
that is,
human
guys, so
ever.
forgive me if it's louder
Locked
than
in by an
what it needs
invisible
to be.
barrier, impossible to overcome for carbon-based animals like us.
But I think I got it.
And not just us.
Sorry,
There may
hold
be
on.
millions of alien civilizations.
I got y'all food. You know what I'm saying? I got y'all food. I got y'all food. Look, I got peanut butter jelly sandwiches. I'm fat.
In the universe, none of them ever able to venture into deep space in a meaningful way. Okay, but how can this be? We've made countless videos imagining how the exploration of the galaxy and beyond should just be a question of time, sort of mandatory for civilizations at a certain point. But there's a catch. We're pushing up against fundamental physics. What is this barrier made of dust and nothingness? And why is it so hard to overcome? You don't understand how large space is.
I'm sorry if y'all can hear me swallow.
We don't either. Conceptualizing the size of space is impossible for our ape brains that evolved to understand distances like right here and over the next hill. Space is so absurdly huge that we just check out and just hear very far. Very far and a million times very far feels the same, but it's not. To help our brains, let's start with what makes us cross distances: speed.
All right, bet.
The fastest a human ever traveled in space were astronauts at 40,000 kilometers an hour, returning from the moon in 1969. Not
Oh,
bad,
so we
but
actually
way
went to the
too
moon?
slow.
I thought that was fake.
The fastest thing humans have ever built by far is the Parker Solar Probe, which at this moment uses a physics cheat code hurling around the gravity well of Venus,
Thought that was
accelerating
fake.
to get closer to the sun. After 7 years of doing this, the probe is shooting through space at a breathtaking 635,000 kilometers an hour, fast enough to go around the world in 4 minutes or to cover the distance from Earth to the moon in 36.
That's not
So
bad.
let's pretend we had a spaceship that fast with a human crew ready to explore the universe. Current rockets would need 7 to 10 months to reach Mars, but our new spaceship covers the distance in just 2 weeks.
That's not
Pretty
bad.
good.
Yeah.
The next stop is Pluto, which we'll reach after about a year. Okay,
That's also
much
not
longer,
bad.
but still okay.
That's
It only
exactly.
takes 2 more years to pass the heliopause and 1 more to pass Voyager 2, which traveled over 50 years to get this far.
That's not
Great.
terrible.
The next stop is the end of the Oort cloud, the true edge of the solar system where open space begins. We reach it in 2,500 years.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
We're skeletons.
oh no.
Yeah.
Not only did we travel for the amount of time it took to get from the founding of the Roman Republic to the present day, there's nothing out here. This is the invisible barrier, the barrier of nothingness that might trap us in the solar system forever.
I'm sorry if you guys hear me swallow
Space
again.
tends to be like that.
Pause.
There is a place that's very far away, but with human ingenuity and billions of dollars, we can get there. Then you zoom out one more time, and all hope leaves your body. And the problem is that we've barely started zooming out. Why don't we just go faster? Well, we don't know of a non-magic way to travel faster than light, teleport, or freeze people. So, no warp drive for now. But things like a propulsion system that uses nuclear fusion or antimatter, powerful enough to reach a substantial fraction of the speed of light, are in the realm of the physically possible. Ignoring the technical details and various problems that these energy sources have, we'll be very optimistic and make the reasonable assumption that we can get a spaceship to fly at around 20% the speed of light, which is extremely fast, 60,000 kilometers per second, 216 million kilometers per hour. Fast enough to reach the edge of the solar system in just 3.5 days and the outer edge of the Oort cloud in 8 years. Alpha Centauri, the closest star system to our own, in 20 years.
That's not
We
bad
can
though.
work with that.
That's a gecko lifespan, like, or whatever. That's like a lot of animals' lifespan actually.
There's only one small problem. We don't have internet.
I mean,
Wait,
you're in
what?
space. What do you
Just
expect?
kidding. But our sponsor Saley can help you.
All right, we back.
Everything should be sorted out now, right? Well, there's only one small issue. Space hates you.
True that.
The barrier of dust. Unfortunately,
Let's say you make it through all the things trying to pull you into the gravitational force. let's say you make it through all that and all the asteroids. Let's say you make it through all that. What do you expect to be out there, guys? Like, honestly, like like, give me like a detail. Like, what would you expect for it to be out there, bro? Hmm. Some Latinas.
You'll run into a few obstacles on the way. Literally. Because while space is very empty, it's not actually empty. There are energetic particles, gas, dust, and things bigger than dust. As a lot of unhappy people experience every day, if you're going really fast and smash into something, you have a huge problem. And at 20% the speed of light, this is true even if the thing you're smashing into is just an atom.
That is true.
An individual iron atom that hits your spaceship at this speed has enough energy to carve a damage track tenths of a millimeter deep. Over time, its hull will be riddled with microscopic bullet holes, which is not great. Of course, our engineers knew this and created a shield for our ship, a sort of protective cell that absorbs or at least slows down most molecules we smash into. And while this makes the journey much safer, there are things floating around in space that are larger than atoms. Running into a single grain of dust at 20% the speed of light is like running into a grenade, causing a tiny detonation as the dust explosively evaporates, grinding away out.
Like, imagine a piece of sand. Like, imagine somebody just had the power just to, you know what I'm saying? Just straight, with just a grain of sand, or like a grain of just a grain of anything, bro. Like, imagine somebody had the ability just to pick up the tiniest speck of sand and just at like a million speeds of light, at like a million times light speed. That's this.
A protective shield. But you can also hit something bigger than a grain of dust, like a small rock the size of a golf ball. Hitting that at 20% the speed of light releases more than double the energy of the nuclear bomb that was dropped over Hiroshima. We'll not even talk about anything larger.
Please don't talk about
Atoms,
anything
dust,
please.
and pebbles are dangerous enough. We might have reached our natural speed limit here. Beside the fact that we don't have a good idea how we could possibly fly any faster, all of the damaging effects of hitting stuff floating around in the void get much worse fast. Having said all that, it's probably fair to assume that with enough shielding, our spaceship should be able to survive traveling through space at roughly 20% the speed of light, long enough to get to at least nearby stars in a reasonable amount of time.
Sure, but you're
Only
also
one more issue to
overcome.
overcome. Almost everything in space that's close is super lame.
What?
The first proper target outside the solar system is the Alpha Centauri system, which is roughly 10,000 years with our original slow, more realistic ship, but only 20 years with our super fast fictional ship.
Hey, that's close
So
enough. We can
let's
go
cram
check.
a few unlucky humans into a tiny box for 20 years and
Jeff,
send them on their way
Amber,
and assume
and
they somehow
oh,
make
that's
it without
Jillian.
murdering each other.
You know what? Never mind.
4 years after their arrival, their message reaches Earth. People around the globe gather together and hold their breath, eager to listen to it.
We're all dying.
Alpha Centauri and its planets are very pretty up close. Unfortunately, they're all super deadly and uninhabitable. But we're doing extremely cool astrophysics and are learning a lot, which is pretty exciting. We're getting kind of tired of freeze-dried food and desperately need new shows to watch though. Not sure what we were thinking coming here. The thing about space is that almost all close...
I'm pretty sure if they could, content creators are dumb enough to do this.
destinations, if close means something different from what it usually means, are pretty lame. Not from a scientific perspective, of course. It would be an absolute dream to have the privilege to set foot on foreign planets and marvel at the wonders of our universe. But if 20% of the speed of light might be our speed limit, and we give humans a realistic travel time of say 40 years, we could reach things that are up to 8 light years away. None of the targets remotely within this range within a human lifetime may be worth traveling dozens of years in a tiny box through one of the deadliest environments imaginable. Our solar system is a bit unlucky in that regard. We're in a relatively empty pocket of the galaxy. This might change in a few million years as we move through the galaxy, and there might be small, localized, star-spanning civilizations. We discussed this in another video. Let's say that we could go much further, to any of the stars within our stellar neighborhood, a sphere about 25 light-years in diameter. 0.02% of the Milky Way, by the way. This tiny bubble is currently inhabited by 34 stars and 6 brown dwarfs. Only 3 stars in our neighborhood are similar to the Sun, but one of them is actually the Sun and another one is Alpha Centauri A. The other stars close to us are mostly red dwarfs with planets that vary from deadly to super deadly. There are a few planets in the habitable zones of their stars where water can be liquid, but Mars is also in the habitable zone of the Sun, and it's really bad. Even the planets that we think look most like Earth, like GJ1061d, come with no guarantees. Imagine traveling your entire life and then arriving at a Mars. What a brutal letdown that would be. There are a few stars that would be interesting targets and may have actual habitable planets. Planets with oceans and atmospheres that are breathable, which probably would mean that they have some form of microbial life, if not more. It would be extremely interesting and
I'm sorry I'm not talking, bro. I am quite literally like in tune.
definitely worth it to check them out. But they could be dozens, if not thousands, of light years away, which means journeys of hundreds or thousands of years, even at a large fraction of the speed of light. Of course, it is maybe feasible that a future humanity that is technologically way more advanced than us and very motivated could find.
We're in the end times. Unfortunately, we are in the end times. I give us about like 4 or 5 years, maybe even left in this world. I'm not gonna lie.
Solutions. Maybe they've
I'm an optimist.
solved biological aging, and a travel time of a few hundred years doesn't seem that bad to them. Maybe
Huh?
they could send
317?
AI spaceships with embryos or some version of that into space. They'd probably have way more advanced telescopes to make sure they don't choose star systems that are deadly and empty. But it's still hard to imagine without real science fiction technology how they could build and sustain a connected civilization. Conclusion. The longer you think about deep space, the less it makes sense.
That is
The
true.
distances are too vast. There's a deadly speed limit, and even if we could solve these issues, almost all destinations even remotely reachable may not be worth the trip. Space is the greatest challenge humanity will ever face.
That in the ocean.
Right now, we're just not equipped or able to solve it. Rockets, computers, and even nuclear fusion reactors are hopelessly underpowered. We need technology that's overwhelmingly transformative. Something as wild to us as flying to the moon would have been to a hunter-gatherer. Will we ever get there?
Probably
We genuinely don't know. But it is good to remind yourself of something. There are few things that make you look dumber than predicting the future of technology.
Like what?
In 1903, the New York Times published an editorial, Flying Machines Which Do Not Fly, that confidently predicted it would take humans 1 to 10 million years to achieve powered flight. 69 days later, the first successful flight happened.
I mean, you put the idea in somebody's head, they're going to like it's going to spark an interest, right? And these are these are the Wright brothers, right? These two guys right here. I forgot what these guys' names are.
66 years later, humans landed on the moon. So we really hope this video will seem as dumb as this article in 100 years. And there's another option entirely. Maybe our thinking about all of this is just completely wrong. Maybe the future is not out there, but deep down. But we'll explore that in another video.
I feel like, is he done? Hold on. How I see it, at least, okay. I feel like we were never supposed to explore space. I feel like it was never supposed to be a thing that was supposed to happen regardless. You know what I'm saying? I feel like, you know, we got to the moon. We can get to Mars, maybe. Okay, sure. You know what I'm saying? But I feel like once you start like going further and then, you know, get closer and closer and then further and further away from the sun, that's where you're gonna like start having hiccups, because obviously, like he just said, debris, space debris is a thing, and space debris destroys a lot of things. It destroys planet, like you know what I'm saying? Like I said, the smallest asteroid can take out like a whole country. Like, I'm dead serious. And like especially if the Earth is pulling it in, bro. And then if it comes into our atmosphere and breaks through our atmosphere, and then it just, and I feel like it's gonna incite some challenge. I don't know. You know in Dragon Ball, you know in Dragon Ball where just because we start doing crazy things, now things gonna start popping out of nowhere. You know all this all this stuff, bro. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Y'all know the animes, bro, like Soul Leveling, like, you know, like Tomb Raider, all that, bro. No, I'm not ready. But if you guys enjoyed the video today, because I did, go check out my friend. His link is going to be in the description. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Love you guys. God bless you guys. Have a good night.